sugar, some are very, some are filled with life, some are incomplete. I'm standing in the middle, crossroads of my life, wonder what this poor boy should do. Should I dance to the music, that small little child, believe that there is nothing I can do? Life is a bowl, cherries, the ones you pick are the ones you eat. Some are sweet like sugar, some are very, some are filled with life, some are incomplete. The world is filled with voices saying it's much too late. There's no turning back from the way it is. We're all given choices from an abundant plate. We only have to choose which life to live. Whatever goes around comes back around again 10,000. Whatever goes around comes right back to your door. Whatever goes around comes back around again 10,000 fold. Time to give and get just a little bit more. There's a bowl of cherries, the ones you pick are the ones you eat. Some are sweet like sugar, some are very, some are filled with life, some are incomplete. We can put off till tomorrow what we can do today. We can wait a year or more for things to change. The universe is waiting for us to make a stand. Life goes on as we make other plans. Life is a bowl of cherries, the ones you pick, the ones you eat. Some are sweet like sugar, some are very, some are filled with life, some are incomplete. Some are filled with life, some are incomplete. Some are filled with life, some are incomplete.
Good morning. Or maybe for you it's afternoon or evening, whatever time of day it is that you have just decided to watch this video. Hello. Welcome to Unity of Beaverton. I am Reverend Kathy Condon, and I am delighted to bring you this service today. As I have told you in the past, this service is recorded and produced by Dan Crothers. There is also music that he sings, records, and produces. And I believe Alan Peterson is a guest of ours today. So you will enjoy all the music that we have to share with you. So I want to begin. I'm going to begin by reading our daily word for Sunday, May 24th, 2020. Faith. Faith is our word for today. I invest my faith only in possibilities for good. The parable of the talents in the Gospel of Matthew tells the story of a wealthy man entrusting sums of money to 3 of his servants before leaving on a journey. When the man returns, he praises and rewards the 2 servants who, through wise investments, have doubled the funds entrusted to them. A 3rd servant who, acting in fear, hid the money entrusted to him and receives no reward. The divine faculty of faith is that part of my spiritual inheritance is more valuable than money. I invest my faith wisely by believing and trusting that possibilities for good are present, even where good has not yet manifested. And I act on that belief. My positively directed faith brings rich rewards in consciousness. And the quote is from Matthew 25:21. You have been trustworthy in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. So it is. So, I like the word faith, always have. It's such a wonderful word. As we know in unity, faith is one of the 12 powers, and each of the 12 powers is located in a place in our body. And the faith power is located right in the center here and right between the eyes, right here. And as that meets, as those two lines meets, and that's the pituitary gland. I'm sorry, I call it that. It's the pineal gland. And that is something that I understand from some people is like a stone until it is awakened and it becomes pliable and it moves and thrives. And that is where our faith is located. That power of faith is located. And that power is truly a power that we can use. And like any power, it must be exercised. We must be trained to utilize, to go to that source of power that is innate within us, to utilize it. And I really like the idea that you have been trustworthy in a few things, and I will put you in charge of many things. Of many things. Because you see, once you have that ability to be in charge of a few things and do them well, is the indication that you can take on more. You can handle more in your life, whether it's more love, more prosperity, more health, more relationships, more of anything, more work to do at work, a greater responsibility that comes with greater prosperity. So these things that we see out in the world, but more importantly, the ones that we see within ourselves, can be expanded by utilizing that power that exists right here. Faith is something, interestingly enough, we all have. Everybody has faith. But what is your faith in? What is it that you place your faith on? What is the thing that you can say without a doubt, this is always going to happen? So when, if your faith is that people will always take from you, people will always take advantage of you, you just watch, you go over there and boy, they'll just take advantage and, you'll just be in trouble. You will lose this or lose that. That's the way it is. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. Watch yourself out there. Don't get caught. If that's where your faith lies, you are pretty sure to run into all those people. Because in fact, as we know in New Thought, the universe operates on a law of attraction. And so if fear is your faith, and the things you fear, you have a lot of faith in that fear and in those things happening, they surely will. They surely will. And if not in exactly the way you called it, close enough. Close enough. If you have faith that people are good, For the most part, people are pretty darn good. I just run into people in the grocery stores, or I run into people at market, and everybody's smiling and, helpful to one another and, polite and kind. That's, you know the story. We've told it. I've told it. You've told it. We all know the story about the guy on the road with all of his belongings, and he sees a man along the side of the road, and he goes, hey, how are those people there in that town? I'm moving there, and I just wonder what kind of people they have there. And the guy on the side of the road says, well, how were the people where you came from? And he describes them as horrible or as wonderful. Either way, the wise man on the side of the road says, yep, that's pretty much what you're going to find there too. It's that we take ourselves with us. We are the ones, we are the common denominator. When I have a conflict with someone and then have another conflict very similar to someone else, and another conflict very similar to someone else, while I'm pointing all those fingers, there's 4 pointed back at me. Oh, 3, not 4. There's 1 pointed out. It is clear when I pay attention that I'm coming from a place that is negative. I'm coming from a place of fear, of losing control. I'm coming from a place of doubt. I am coming from a place of shame, and I don't want to be insulted in some way. And that shows up in my dealings with that was outside of me. So a shift, a slight shift, just by making a decision. Actually, I like the way better is to come to a decision. Look at what has gone before. Look at what you have gotten in the past, how things have worked out, and determine that from now on, you're going to begin to trust the universe. Trust God. Trust your higher self. And when you begin to believe that God is in all of life, when you begin that belief that God is in all of life, there starts a ball rolling. And as it rolls, it picks up, speed, because it's going downhill. You're no longer pushing it uphill. And it picks up speed, and it gets bigger, like your consciousness. Because you end up believing so many new, wonderful things just by means of the awareness that God is in everything. And out of that, you begin to be able to have faith. You make a decision at that point to place your faith in God, or, like I said, the universe, your higher power, your higher self, whatever that is. You place your faith in that, and everything will begin to shift. It will change. It will look different. You will be surprised at the number of people who smile at you. And it may not be a while before you realize that they're smiling at you because you're smiling at them. A smile is such a big welcome. When we smile and we say hello, even just with our eyes, even just with our eyes, when we smile and our eyes say hello, welcome. That is a gift you have just handed someone. And 90% of the time, they're going to automatically give it back to you. It is that reciprocity that exists, that reciprocity that is part of the law of how things work. It's again based on that law of attraction. Oh, excuse me. So that whatever it is that we currently have in our life, if we are handling it well, we can get ready for more because we are attracting more of that stuff. Isn't it true that when you start going downhill, when maybe you're sick for a few days and then your boss doesn't believe you were sick and he thinks you were just taking time off, and then your kid comes home and they have a bad grade on the report card, or your spouse is tired and just speaks back to you in a way that hurts your feelings. You know how things just go, and then pretty soon that becomes your normal, and everything is speeding downhill, out of your control, out of control. And what we have within us at all times, everywhere, every when, every time, is that power of faith that we can go to in the blink of an eye. We can remember, oh my gosh, I have been letting this happen, and all this time that power was just sitting right there waiting for me, and we can turn our attention to actually that place in our head and call faith forth. Call it forth and say, hey, faith, I need you. I want you now. I want to find out what it looks like to have you in my life. What does it feel like to have you in my life? I'm going to give you a little trust, faith. I'm going to practice just a little bit, maybe with just small things right now. I'm going to practice putting you into use and seeing how you do. What happens? What happens? Well, it might take a time or two. You can't give up. You can't quit, You got to keep at it. But it begins to function. A power that actually begins to function. And the next time some little thing goes awry, and you go back into faith and say, I believe God is in all. I believe God is all that there is. And you find that whatever that was 5 minutes ago is gone. It has not become part of your story. As a matter of fact, little by little, you begin looking at that story and be able to throw part of it away. When people ask you, so tell me about you, what's going on with you? How have you been? It dawns on you, I don't have to tell my story. I want to talk about what happened yesterday when I was out walking the dog. I want to talk what happened when I found somebody's wallet or somebody found mine. I want to talk about, that my husband or wife or spouse or kid washed the dishes the other night when it was really my turn. These are the little things that begin to show up. And when we pay attention, we realize it's working. It's working. I've been talking to so many people these last few weeks. And I have to say, as I've spoken to so many people, in this past week especially, I have found more and more people having a difficult time with the quarantine. You know, that there's just so much going on in our country and in the world right now, and then this pandemic, and then you have people out there, you know, protesting in ways that is, you know, just like it doesn't seem to match up, you know. I love the guys with the guns in Michigan at the state capitol. Guns? Yeah, I don't know, you know, I don't get it, but it's part of the oddity of what's happening right now. And we cannot help but be touched by this stress. And it doesn't matter where you are on this spectrum of being in quarantine, whether you're going out and having to go to work and meet people every day, some of whom wear masks and some of whom don't. You're you know, out there in the midst of it, not knowing, you know, if you are protected enough. And then the others that are home and aren't supposed to get together with friends. My goodness, is that not a life raft? You know, that so many of us use as a way to save ourselves. You know, before we're going down, call a friend, go have coffee with a friend, have a friend come over, let's go to lunch. And that not, you know, was not being able to do that in that same way has an effect. And so how do we get through it? How do we get through it if not through faith? If not through a belief in the goodness in the world? If not a belief that we are, as humanity, moving forward always. Even at times when it looks like we're moving back. This speck of time that we are in right now is a tiny, minute period of time. Minute. From 200 years ago, 220 years ago, 30 years ago, 50, whatever, years ago, when the Declaration of Independence was signed and then the Constitution was written and all of those documents were written, this is a blip. And it can so easily shift in a way just as if it's kind of shifted to this now, it can shift in another way, and we have expanded exponentially. We have been through an era where things seem to be disappearing and being taken away and being endangered. You know, our earth seems to be more endangered right now than it has in a very long time. Laws that were in place are being taken away. Laws that protected our mother. But out of this, let us build in faith a will, which is another power, to continue. See that our protection of our earth, our protection of our children, our protection of the elderly, our protection of love and life and the pursuit of happiness continue. And this can come back as a rebirth, a new birth, being more beautiful, more astounding, more awe-inspiring than it has ever been. I can have faith in that. I can have faith that what is happening right now and what I am doing right now and what you are doing right now and in our prayers and in our knowing God and calling forth that love that is God, that we can spread a healing blanket of faith and love and wisdom throughout this world. We're not going back, you and I, and our community, and our people of like mind. We're not going back. We're moving forward. And we're still, right now, moving forward. Each of us has the opportunity to move our consciousness forward, to not fall back because what we're seeing isn't making us happy. We don't have to give up our faith because what is happening in this material world is not making us happy. We can continue on, continue loving, continue praying, continue knowing that good is my God. My God is my good, and my good is my God. So there we go. Let us hold that as faith. Let's believe in that and have faith that my good is my God and my God is my good. On that, we can build our own life and the life of this country and the life of this world. Namaste. So, a few announcements. Okay, our this Sunday message will be on Unity of Beaverton, a website, www.unityofbeaverton.org, and it should be there either late Saturday night or early Sunday morning. It will also be posted on Facebook and on YouTube. And there will be a link on Facebook, and I will send out in our weekly email the link to the YouTube and Facebook and our web. So you will have all three in the weekly email that will go out tomorrow and be able to find us. Remember that we have our Zoom noon call for gathering together. We read the prayer for the day from the Daily Word. And then from there, we open into discussion and finally end up in fellowship. So it's quite enjoyable hour that we have together, and you are welcome to join. That link is on our website, and it is also will be in the email blast that I send out tomorrow. There is a Power of 8 intentional healing group that is meeting via conference call every Wednesday. And that too will be on our website and in the email that I send out tomorrow. So let us do a moment of prayer in gratitude. Let us settle in and get comfortable. And breathe in deeply as you can. And hold it for just a second or two. And then release with a big sigh. And do this a couple more times. In. And hold. And release. And once more. And hold. and release. Now, there is only one God. There is only one power in the universe and in whatever is beyond what we know as the universe. On this plane and that plane and any other plane of existence, there is one God, one divine presence that is all wisdom, all truth, all love, perfect harmony and peace, true peace, peace of mind, peace of body, just a delightful, delightful beingness that comes alive in us when we ask, when we seek, and fills us with such joy and greater knowing than we could ever have expected to have. We suddenly see the world as brand new. We suddenly see the wonders of God, the wonders of nature, the wonders of humanity, the beauty that exists in art, in nature, in everything, everywhere. And our hearts are filled and overcome with awe. And when we get to a state of awe, and there is a humbleness at how vast it all is, we are there, right in the midst of it. And when you have that moment, you are changed. There has been a shift in your life, and you will never see things the same again. And my friends, this doesn't happen once. It's not a one-time experience. It can come to you and come to you and come to you. So live in faith, my friends. Let us all live in faith. And so it is. Amen. So, thank you, Dan Crothers. Thank you, Alan Peterson. And thank you all for tuning in and celebrating Sunday and all days with us at Unity of Beaverton. Thank you.